So the big question that we're asking today is quite simple. Was this the right tactic that has been employed by India, leveraging its position as a top business destination and also a top major economy to get benefits for its citizens who wish to travel to Europe? Let me introduce our guest joining us today, Vishnu Prakash, former diplomat, Sreeram Chaulia, foreign affairs expert, and Natasha Loder, who's the health policy editor of The Economist, all joining us on the show. So let's just at least face it and accept that, every bloc or every country is playing to its own interests. And India, therefore, Sreeram, would you say has played it smartly? Because India is also leveraging its position as a top destination to say, listen, you don't recognize jabs given in India, you will also have to go through quarantine. Reciprocate or suffer quarantines.
Yeah, Shivani, it's a golden rule of diplomacy to use reciprocity as the basis for dealing with partners. There are 6,000 European companies that do business in India. And their executives keep coming in and going out of the country. So the moment you threaten that, the moment you insist that if you don't let Indian citizens enter the EU, then your citizens can't get here, then they feel the pinch, and then suddenly somebody from higher up in the EU bureaucracy, the EU bureaucracy is really the core of the problem, apart from the pharma lobby, because they are very rigid about their so-called standards and regulations. Loads of things. For example, in genetically modified food, they have never accepted it, even though it's globally recognized as palatable and edible for consumers. So they insist on certain things. And I think the negative portrayal of the second wave in India has also spooked a lot of them, because they are now of the view that the Delta variant, it started in India. That's what they claim, even though we don't know where it originated. They think that it might somehow come back and it may spoil their party, because right now they're returning to normalcy, slowly limping back after 1.5 years of struggle. So I think the Europeans are being unreasonable, no doubt, but we are, maximizing and playing to our strengths, and that's the right way. Dr. Jaishankar was in Italy, and I'm sure he had a direct exchange. He's been talking about a fair travel regime, and what we mean by that is this only, that we are not carriers. We did the virus did not start in India. It was a Chinese virus. So let us not, castigate or, stigmatize one big nation like India. And secondly, the EU foreign investments in India, Shivani, are almost 75 to 80 billion euros cumulatively. So, and their companies are here. So they need executive travel. Many of them, of course, would like to come as tourists also. So all these things matter. Ultimately, when we apply pressure only, suddenly the bureaucracy wakes up and says, this was a crazy, irrational rule that we had, and we better rectify it. So it's good to see the movement on Covaxin by some EU member countries. Germany, I noticed, of course, is the leader of the EU, but also the European Council, the European Commission, all these arms, I think, have been suddenly jolted and awakened. Because we were saying until recently that the India-EU free trade agreement has to be revived, and we are now restarting the talks. So the stakes are very big. And like you said at the beginning, India is a huge business destination for them, a major trade export market also for them that's growing. And they would like to do this. But I think they're stuck at the bureaucracy, the European medicines agency, their approval processes. These are all very convoluted.
I'm going to look at those processes. Sreeram, I have just 30 seconds. Do you think the future of good vaccination programs and opening up of global economy is that this kind of block mentality or balkanization must end?
It's a good phrase, block mentality, or I would call it exceptionalism. The Europeans always think that they have the highest health standards, that they have the highest regulatory approval systems, that they have reached a certain pinnacle in terms of, good living and life. I think that's wrong, and they need to come out of this ivory tower. They have to shed this exceptionalism, and they have to accept multilateral institutions like the WHO. They are donating, they are contributing financially. They have also given vaccines out to other countries under COVAX.
Right.
But then on the other hand, they have these believe that their citizens are somehow superior and exceptional. They need to be protected in extra layers. The same with migration, many other issues, as I said.
Okay.
So I think they need to come out of this and they need to look at the world from more equitable eyes, and that's good for them,
Yes,
their own
not just
self-interest.
talk the talk, but walk the talk also, if you consider yourself leaders. A big thanks to all of our guests for joining us for this very engaging conversation.